on a cold and blustery New England day. I am here with you in my car. So this is going to be a pretty advanced video, I guess you could say. I don't like using that term usually. And it doesn't mean that what I'm about to talk about, you need to be super advanced or whatever to understand. It's advanced in the sense that what I'm about to talk about in regards to, manifesting better relationships, a better romantic relationship, a quote-unquote SP, meaning a special person or specific person, is the kind of information that is, first of all, in my opinion, incredibly effective and incredibly incisive. It's also the kind of information, this is why I call it advanced, that flies in the face of the majority of the advice you hear in the SP community, the Law of Assumption, Neville Goddard community, in terms of how to quote-unquote manifest an SP. So for that reason, this video will be considered, I would say, advanced for a lot of you. And I would imagine that the majority of people watching this are not going to like it. And that's obviously fine. This isn't the right channel for you then. This isn't the right information. If this does resonate with you, of course, as always, you can reach out to me. I'm available. I provide short free consultations, and I provide in-depth coaching and counseling if people are serious about actually manifesting their SP. I can help you. That information's in the description. But what I want to go over is, in a way, very simple. I'm not going to tease it. I'm just going to tell you what it is, and then I'll kind of go in a little more depth about it over the next, 5-10 minutes or longer. So this is it. If you want to improve your relationships with people, especially people you care for, right? Meaning family members, close friends, and obviously we should care for everybody, but people that you're in contact with that you think about. If you want to improve those relationships, including romantic relationships, a very undervalued key that works is being vulnerable. You see, being emotionally open and being able to communicate how you feel is one of the better qualities that we have as social human beings. And the majority of people have difficulty communicating how they feel effectively, especially people who seem to struggle with relationships. And if you can start to do this more through being more open and vulnerable with your romantic partner or your potential romantic partner or with friends or with family, if you can start to be more vulnerable and at the same time love yourself enough where even though you're vulnerable and emotionally open with people you care about, you do not allow yourself to get railroaded by them. So you're open, you're loving, but you're also loving towards yourself. So if they say something that you doesn't feel right, you're able to say no to them, right? If you can do that, you will have basically superior social skills to most people, at least, here in the Western world. Now, this is not something that the majority of people are good at. And if you get good at it, it's almost like a superpower. And this is not esoteric. This is not like, because of some weird law of assumption theory or something like that. And for those of you who don't know, I can talk law of assumption theory all day long, guys. It's not that relevant to what I'm discussing here, okay? More relevant is the real underlying kind of fundamental principles of these law of assumption ideas, which we recently went over in that Joseph Murphy SP course. I'll put a link above to that entire free YouTube playlist if you want to look at that. That's the kind of law of assumption points we're looking at when we discuss being emotionally open and being vulnerable. The big points, meaning practicing the golden rule. Treat others the way you would want to be treated. Treat yourself the way you want to be treated. And that's a tricky one, because the more honest we become with ourselves, the more we might realize that, my gosh, here I am pretending to treat myself well, pretending to listen to my emotions and my feelings and observe my thoughts with less judgment, my self-criticisms with less judgment, and being curious and inquisitive about where that stuff comes from, and being gentle and almost parenting those feelings that feel like they need to be held and comforted. I may pay lip service to doing that, but am I actually doing it? I think a lot of us will discover, if we are honest with ourselves, that we're not doing it as much as we could or should. If you start doing that, so be more vulnerable with yourself in that way. Realize, oh wow, I actually don't feel that good right now. Oh wow, this situation is triggering something inside me. If you become more vulnerable like that and start working with that, and again, this is what I always talk about, this is what I help people with. If you realize you're okay despite this stuff coming up, and if you're able to embrace yourself despite your seeming shame or fear or anger or hurt or whatever it may be, if you're able to love yourself even with that stuff being there, and if you're able to love other people like your SP or your family or your friends, and communicate with them more openly, showing yourself to them in this way, where you're like, here I am. This is me, quote unquote, warts and all. I'm not going to project these warts onto you, but I'm going to be open and brave and listen to you and talk to you openly. Because what most people do is that fear and shame that they might have, they don't look at it and own it. They project it onto their SP. They project it onto their family, onto their friends. Oof, that is a psychic load that most people do not want. But that's what we have a tendency to do a lot of the time. If you can get better at not doing that, loving yourself more and listening to your partner, or again, your family, your friends more, and being open, vulnerable in this way, if you can do that, your relationships are going to get better. And this is advanced because there's, in a way, it's just common sense, straightforward. It's like, again, look at that Joseph Murphy SP course. A lot of it's like common sense, straightforward, but then, no one really talks about it or does it that much. People talk about SATs or robotic affirmations or getting the person back through some kind of, mental technique. They even talk about manipulating someone to get them back, really. And people hate it when I say that, like, manipulation, like there's something like, but it's manipulation. If a person has said, I don't want to be in a relationship with you, and made it very clear, and you still are trying to get them back, to manifest them back, that's manipulation. This is the opposite of that, what we're talking about. Being vulnerable is more the vibe of, I love you. I'd love to be with you. And if you don't want to be with me, that's okay. And I still love you. And I want you to be happy whether we're together or whether I never see you again. And I'm sending this love to you. And this love is also reflected back to myself. And that has to be genuine. That is a lack of manipulation. That is being vulnerable. That is being, I'm giving my love. I don't know what this person's going to do. And I'm at peace with that because I love myself and I love the other person. That's real relationship advice. If you want help, you know where to find me. I hope this was helpful for you.